So we are looking at efficient multiplication today. Class 4 are multiplying 28 times 4 mentally. They're trying two different methods. Complete their calculations. Method 1. Okay, so this is what they're doing. 20 times 4 plus 8 times 4. So they've separated the 20 and the 8. If you remember, it said 28 times 4. And here they've separated the 20 times 4 and the 8 times 4. And this is the 20 times 4 represented in the blue here. 20 times 4, what does that give you? Well, what's 4 times 2? Oh, that's not good. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. Yes, 8. Anyway, so exactly, yeah. Okay, so this gives us 80. Then this one is the 8 times 4. Well, do you know, you have to know your 8 times table, I suppose, for this one. What does this give you? 8 times 4. Well, what's 5 times 8? 5 times 8? 40, right? So 5 times 8 is 40. Then you need to take 8. I'll write it up here. 5 times 8 is 40. 40 take 8 equals 32. Okay, 8 times 4 is 32. Guys, you need to learn your 8 times table. Yeah, should know it, just like that. Right, so we have our 80 plus then our 32. So that's an easier method than doing 28 times 4. Yeah, that's a bit too difficult just to do as it is. So separating the 20 and the 8 and then adding them together. But of course you do need to know your 8 times table. Yeah, so try and keep on top of that. Okay, the question continues. Method 2. 4 times equals, which method do you find easier? Talk about it. So let's see, how many is this? There's 4 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What's 4 times 7? 27. 28, sorry. 4 times 7 is 28. So each one of these is 28. Yeah. Okay. So the equation here is just 4 times 28. Well, I think that's too hard to really work out. Yeah. I mean, we know the answer from this one. Oh, we haven't yet done the answer. Sorry, beg your pardon. Yeah, what's 80 plus 32? Anybody? 80 plus 32? 112. Good. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Because you take the 20 from the 32, add it to 80, you get 100. Okay. Right. So from that, we know that the answer is 112. But this way is very difficult to work out. Yeah. I mean, counting all these counters, I don't think that's so easy. What other methods could you use to work out 28 times 4? Well, I will give you one. Now, the 5 times table is a bit easier. Well, maybe in this case you don't find it so easy. What we can do to work out the 5 times table is work out the 10 times table. What do we get? 28 times 10. 280. Okay, so to get our 5 times table, 280 divided by 2, what's half of 280? What's half of 80? Yeah, good. So half of 8 is 4, half of 2 is 1. Okay. Now, 140 is basically 28 times 5. Okay, but we don't want 28 times 5, we want 28 times 4. So what we need to do is 140 minus 28. What's 40 take away 28? No? Well, 40 take away 28 is 12. Okay? Exactly. So that's one way of doing it, because the 10 times table is easier. The other way is if you round 28 up to 30 and times 30 times 4. Well, what's 3 times 4? 3 times 4 is 12. And you have a 0 here, which you need to put here, 120. Now, you've done 30 times 4, but you need to do 28. So you need to take away 2 times 4. What is 2 times 4? 8. So 120 take away 8 gives us, well, what's 20 take away 8? 12. Yeah. So there's a couple of different ways of doing it. Let's move on. Mo, Amir, and Annie worked out 35 times 6 in different ways. I multiplied 30 by 6 and then added 5 more lots of 6. Okay, so Mo, so they're working out this one. So Mo did 30 times 6, okay, and then he did 5 times 6. Right, what's 30 times 6? Or what's 3 times 6? 18, good. And then, of course, you need your 0. 5 times 6? 30, good. And now we have to add them together, yeah, because you the 5 and the 30. So 180 plus 30. Well, 0 plus 0 is 0. 8 plus 3 is 11. 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay, I think this way is pretty good, but let's see. I multiplied 35 by 2. 35 times 2. Then multiplied that answer by 3. Okay, so 35. So what he's done is he's not multiplied it by 6 because he knows that 6 is the same as 3 times 2. So first he's going to multiply it by 2 and then he's going to multiply it by 3. So 35 times 2 is 70. And then 70 times 3, well, what's 7 times 3? 21, and then 0. 210. Okay. I multiplied 5 by 6, then multiplied that answer by 7. So, sorry. Okay. 5 by 6, and then multiplied it by 7. I'm not sure why she did that. Well, I suppose, okay, she's looked at it like this. So 35 is the same as 7 times 5, in other words here, 7 times 5, okay? So first she's going to times the 5 times 6. What does that give you? 30. And then she times 30 by 7. What's 7 times 3? 21. 21, good. Okay, and then of course because of the 0. Yeah. So yeah, different ways of working out the same question. Which way do you prefer? Mo's, Amir, or Annie? Which way do you prefer? Annie's way, yeah. I mean, it also comes down to which times table you prefer. Yeah. Of course, you need to know how to split the 35 up. So she realized that 35 is 7 times 5. So you kind of need to know some numbers you might not be able to split up like that. Yeah. But in this case, it works. Let's see. Work out the answer using each method to show that they are all correct. Okay, well, we just did that here. So yeah, this would go in these boxes. Who has used the most efficient method? Yeah? Yeah, you should write it in these boxes. It will help you remember, yeah? Okay? It's the quickest. Well, I think, Manaher, you suggest Annie's method. Yeah, they're kind of all equally quick, I think. Although this way might be the quickest, yeah, because I did this extra one here. Although this one's pretty quick as well. So I think it's a matter of opinion. I don't think there's a clear winner here. That's just what you think. Scott is working out 21 times 4. Okay, so here's 20 times 4. 80 minus 4. 21 times 4. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. So he did 21 times. He did 20 times 4. Right. What mistake has Scott made? Can anyone tell me what is the mistake here? So he's supposed to be working out 21 times 4. He does 20 times 4, which is 80. But then he takes 4. Why does he take the 4? Well, that can't be correct, okay? Because he's done 20 times 4, he's missed out 1 4, hasn't he? It should be add 4. It should be 80 plus 4, which would give him 84 as the answer. Okay? He shouldn't have minused the 4, because he did 1 less 4, as shown here. Okay. What is the correct answer? Well, we just did that, so he should have added 4, making the answer 84. All right. Moving on. Does everybody understand that? Any questions? So I think this mistake could easily be done, because in some cases you do add, in some cases you do minus, but that's usually when you've timed it by a larger number. So for example, if you did 25 times 4, then you'd have to minus 4 times 4. Let me show you that. So if we did 25 times 4, what is the answer? Well, it is 100. Okay? And then, because this number is too big, it should be 21. So then you have to take away 4 times 4. What is 4 times 4? 16, good. So then you need to do 100 take 16. This method isn't very efficient, as you can see. Well, what's 100 take 10? 90. What's 90 take away 6? 84. Okay. So you take away if you multiply it by a number which is too large, but if the number is too small, as in this case when it's 20, you need to add the missing number. Right. So Jack works out 36 times 9. 36 times 9. 36 times 10 minus 1. So 360 minus 36 equals 324. Okay, so we have to adapt Jack's method to work out this one. Right, well, what we can do is instead of 99, we can do 100. So we'd be adding a 0 here. We'd be putting a 0 on there. So we'd be doing this. 36 times 100 minus 1. Okay, so then here, because we times it by 100, we need another 0 here. So it would be 3600, like those two zeros there, minus 36 equals. Okay, well, this is the hardest part. What's 100 take away 36? Oh, well, if we're going to do long division, we might as well do it here like this. Okay, so we're minusing. What's 0 take away 6? Can't be done. Can't take 1 from there either, so we need to take 1 from here. 5. And that becomes 10. Well, we need to take another 1, put it there, and that becomes 9. Okay, sorry for the mess. 10 take away 6 is 4. 9 take away 3 is 6. And we have the 5 and the 3. This is our answer. Does that make sense? So I have adapted this question. All that I've had to change is add another 0, because instead of 99, I was using 100. Take 1. It's the same thing, really, isn't it? Esther has found a quick way of to multiply 84 by 5. Yeah, we spoke a bit about this before. You could do, if you don't know 84 times 5, you can do 84 times 10 and then halve it, divide it by 2, which is 420. So we have to use the same method for these questions. So instead of 43 times 5, we have to do 43 times 10, which is 430, thank you. And then we have to divide 430 by 2. Now, actually, this is the hardest one, because you can't divide 3 by 2, so you have to divide 30 by 2. So what is 30 divided by 2? What is 30 divided by 2? The answer is 15. What's 4 divided by 2? So you're doing the hundreds now. 2, yeah. You can't divide the units by 2 here. You have to divide the tens, yeah. And now we'll see in the other ones that it's possible. It's a bit easier. So now here, what do? We do 62 times 10. What does that give us? 620. Okay, and have the hundreds, tens, and I put units. I should, because they do say, I don't like putting ones because it looks like a 0, so it gets confusing. Anyway, so you can't divide the units by 2, so it's just 0. What about 2 divided by 2? What does that give you? Good. 6 divided by 2? 3. Okay, and there's our answer. Right, 74 times 10 equals 740. Okay, hundreds, tens, units. 0 divided by 2 is 0. 4 divided by 2. How many times does 2 go into 4? 2 times. Oh, okay. Hence the trick. I did this one badly. Right, okay. So we can't do it like that, can we? So instead, we need to do, what is 74 divided by 2? Well, what is 70 divided by 2? Good, 35, because we know 10 times 7 is 70, so 5 times 7 is 35. Yeah? Now if we have another 0, then it's, as in this case, 750. Okay, but we have another 40. We're not just dividing 700, we have another 40. What's half of 40? Well, 40 divided by 2 equals 20. So we need to add these to give us 370. So I need to put a 7 here. Okay? So this one's a bit trickier because it's not easy to divide the 7. And you can't just split it up like this to divide it. Get my pen. Tommy and Dora are both working out 25 times 8. So Tommy's one is 25 times 8 equals 25 times 2 minus 25 times 2. Okay? So what he's done is he's changed the 8 to a 10. But of course that's too many. So then he needs to subtract 2 times 25. Well, let's go through it. 25 times 10 equals 250. Good. And then we have to take away 25 times 2. What's 25 times 2? So 25 times 2 is 50. 0 take away 0 is 0. 5 take away 5 is 0. Nothing to take from the 2, so it's just 2. Okay, so that's his method. Use Tommy's method to work out the answer, right? That's what we did. Now let's look at Dora's method. 25 times 8 equals 50 times 8 divided by 2. So what she's done is she's times 25 times 2. Yeah? But then she's going to divide it by 2 later because she thinks that, well, it's probably true, 50 times 8 is easier to work out than 25 times 8. And then she divides by 2 later to get her answer. Okay, so 50 times 8. Well, what is 8 times 5? 8 times 5 is 40, and then we have this 0, so we need to have this 0, 400. Now we need to divide 400 by 2. Yes, good, equals 200. Okay, because you can do 4 divided by 2, which is 2, and then take the zeros, put them back. Okay, so we've just worked out Dora's answer here, which is 200. Choose the method that you prefer, or whose method do you prefer and why. So do you prefer Tommy's or Dora's method? Dora's method is slightly easier. I find Dora's method easier in this situation because 400 divided by 2 is slightly easier than 250 minus 50. But that's just a matter of opinion, yeah? Because, as you say, they're both good. Yeah. You could argue that Tommy's method is better because you can't always times a number by 2 and get a more easier number to multiply. It works in this case because you get 50, but that's not always the case. Now, they ask, do you know another method? So the other method that we discussed before was that instead of doing 25 times 8, we do 20 times 8 and then add 5 times 8. 20 times 8 is 160 because 2 times 8 is 16, and then we have the 0. 5 times 8 is 40, and then if we add these, 0 plus 0 is 0. 6 plus 4 is 10. Carry the 1, and you get 2. Okay, so that's the one method you can do. You could now earlier on in the different methods, they say if you double one number and halve the other number, you get the same answer. So the question is 25 times 8, but that is the same as, if you double this number, 50 times 4. Okay, if you double this by 2 and then divide this by 2, you get the same. Another thing you could do is then you can times this by 2 and divide this by 2 again, and now you get 100 times 2, which will give you 200.